but we're diving all in, dude. We're gonna talk about the Jacob Fagundes story.
Riding the bench. Without further ado, here are your hosts, Caleb Brown and Jacob Fagundes.
Welcome back to the Right in the Bench podcast. My name is Jacob Fagundes,
And my name is Caleb Brown.
and we are super excited to talk some sports with you guys today. We may talk crap about your favorite sports, your favorite teams, your favorite players, but this is a fun environment. If you can't handle that, you may leave. But Caleb,
Yes, you
this
can,
week
but
we're not talking sports.
We're not talking sports. And also,
We're not-
I would like to start off by saying welcome to the season finale of Riding the Bench.
Yes, 20 episodes. Been doing it for about 6 months now, man. Crazy, super fun. I mean, we've absolutely loved doing it, and this is going to be a banger episode to end the season off.
It is. Everybody get your tissues ready.
Yes. But just before we get into it, this is the season finale. That does not mean this is the finale of all finales. Like, we are coming back. We're going to take a short 3-week break, and then we'll be back with more action. We'll be talking everything NBA Finals. The All-Star game will be coming up shortly for the MLB. The NFL will be quickly approaching, and so stay tuned. In 3 weeks, we will be back with more Riding the Bench for you guys.
Absolutely. Now, I know you guys are thinking, you guys aren't going to talk about OKC winning the Western Conference Championship. No, we're not. We got more important shit to talk about.
Yeah.
Is that aggressive?
I mean,
That
a
was
little bit,
aggressive.
yeah.
Okay.
I think we should at least mention it. Pacers, Thunder, both looking for their first ring in the finals this year.
Yeah.
That's it for sports.
That's it,
for
everybody.
sports.
Good night. No, so this is gonna be an episode that this is an episode that I wanted to do at like the very beginning of the show. Like this is an episode that has been developing for a very long time. And you know, we've hinted at it as the season has gone on and yeah, I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard us talk about Jacob and his story specifically, and we've kind of tried to not get into it just because of this episode right here. But we're diving all in, dude. We're gonna talk about the Jacob Fagundes story today.
That was the best name you could come up with.
What?
The Jacob Fagundes story.
What do you want me to call it?
I don't know.
What do you want me to call it?
I don't know.
Miracle Baby? I don't know. What do you want me to call it? I don't know.
Sure. Miracle Baby. Mommy and
All
Daddy's
right.
little miracle.
Welcome to Miracle Baby. Okay. All right. So kind of like I said, I'm gonna kind of pass you the reins here. I want you to be able to just be free to say whatever. So
Okay.
where where does your story begin? Like where did it all start?
So late May, early June of 2020, I started having some pain in my lower abdomen. And so we went to urgent care and they told us, oh, it's appendicitis, go to the emergency room. And man, do I wish it was appendicitis.
Right.
We went to the emergency room. They did all the scans and everything. And before we even had results, they had the doctor who was going to come in and take out my appendix. I have no idea what they're called. But they had him come in and talk to us because that's how convinced they were that this is what was wrong with me. The results came back and it obviously wasn't that. So they went, oh crap, here we go. Sent me to Valley Children's. Valley Children's ran about 2 weeks of testing or so and actually ruled out all forms of cancer. No leukemia, no lymphoma, everything was ruled out.
Shut up.
And then did a couple more tests, a biopsy, and came back in and said he has cancer. I was diagnosed with anaplastic large cell non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, stage 3. So for those of you who don't
speak
understand big
English.
words, yeah, it's a type of blood cancer, a stage 3 blood cancer in my lower abdomen and my upper clavicle. So I don't know where those are, but that's what my mom tells me.
Your clavicle's up here, no?
Is it? Yeah, that's right. That's right. So
Yeah.
yeah. So my lower abdomen and upper clavicle. So that's what I was diagnosed with the first time. I went through like 6 or 8 rounds of chemo. I was so nauseous. It was ridiculous. I couldn't keep anything down. It was insane. I couldn't eat anything. I had a chemo at one point that come to find out I was allergic to, but it gave me such bad back pain.
Wait. You found out you were allergic to chemo?
There were certain chemo medications that I was allergic to. So not all of them, but there was one specifically that I took that they gave me one time. It was the only time they gave it to me that had such bad side effects that I was laying in my bed writhing in pain from the back pain that I had from that
Really?
medication. So that was crazy. So that was all round one. Was diagnosed June 18th of 2020, um, right before my, and then I got home right before my high school or eighth grade graduation. So it was really cool. I went to a really small country school, kindergarten through eighth grade, and so my entire graduating class was super close. And graduation, because it was during the time of COVID, wasn't actually a graduation. We like all went one at a time and had videos. I went first because they were concerned for my immune system and all that stuff. It made complete sense. And then come to find out when I got my video later on, every single one of my classmates, when they walked at graduation, had a little green ribbon on their cap and gown uh, to show that they supported me. So that
Shut
was really
up.
cool. It was
Wow.
really cool. And it was on my birthday. So I graduated eighth grade on my birthday
Oh, no way.
with cancer running through my body,
With some chemo allergies.
with some chemo. But yeah, so I went through the first round, 6 to 8. I don't remember exactly how many rounds of chemo, super nauseous. And then in December of 2020, I found out I was cancer free. Best Christmas present ever. I mean, it was awesome. My mom was in tears. I mean, I didn't cry because I'm a man, but super awesome Christmas present. And then went a couple months and I started having some pain in my lower back. I was golfing with my buddy Elijah. Shout out Elijah. And we were just playing 9 holes at Valley Oaks, and I couldn't get through the 9 holes. I played about 6 or 7, and I'm like, man, I'm in such pain. I can't finish these. And anyone who knows me knows I don't quit in anything. And so I knew something was wrong. I called my dad to come pick me up because I couldn't drive at this point yet. He came and picked me up, and then we went to the hospital the next day. And we had some more tests, told me it's back. So same thing, anaplastic large cell non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. This time it was in the brain, making it stage 4. Also, for you listeners, Caleb's never heard this story before.
Mm-mm. This is
Like
my first. This is my first time. So if I'm really quiet, it's because I'm locked in.
he's heard bits and pieces. He's never heard this story before, like all the way through.
Mm-mm.
So the second time I was diagnosed with cancer in my brain, which brain cancer, dangerous. Um, and obviously terrified, but I'm like round 2, I got this. This time they told me bone marrow transplant is gonna be what you need in order to uh, to keep it from coming back. So I went through chemo again. This time it was a lot more intense. I had a chemo medication because they couldn't get me the one I needed because of insurance. Insurance was a pain in the butt through this whole process. But I took a medication that they gave me, and it would make me black out at random times. So I couldn't remember my own name. I didn't remember where I was. So like at one point I was leaving the hospital, getting discharged from a chemo stay, and I black out and I like fall onto my mom. I was using a walker at the time because I was super weak. I fall onto the walker. My mom's like holding me up. They have all the nurses come rush. And literally, as I'm walking out of the Craycroft, which is like the cancer wing of the hospital at Valley Children's, and so I black out. They bring me back in, obviously, stay for a couple more days, and then keep going through chemo every week and a half. Like every other week, I think was the schedule that I was on. Um, One time I was getting up to go do a scan and I blacked out, couldn't even remember my own name. The nurse came in, was asking me questions. I was so delusional. She's all, "What's your name?" I said, "Pancake." She said, "Where are you at?" I said, "Panda Express," which now is an inside joke because when I see her, she goes, "Hey, what's up, Pancake?" Like it's an inside joke now, but uh, but it was scary times. I thought I was gonna die, and little did we know this wasn't even the worst of it. But other times I would black out. Like one time I was at my brother's baseball game. He was playing against Golden West, against the hosts of the Real Stuff podcast, Carson Sapien. And congratulations to him. He's getting married next year.
Hey, Carson taking the vows, dude.
Carson taking the vows.
Wiping
But
it up.
I was at one of their baseball games, and and I black out. And so his dad, who we've known forever, my brother and Carson are childhood best friends, and then his dad was my pastor at the time, came over, caught me, was holding me up while my mom and dad had to like stop the game, drive the car onto the field to come get me. Like it was wild. It was crazy. And I really don't remember much of it because I
Right.
was blacked out at the time. Um, so I mean, just these random blackouts, and those were terrifying. But then I ended up going and then finishing the chemo, and then I ended up being cancer free again in July of 2021. Um, and then it was time to go. Time to get ready for my bone marrow transplant. And so my bone marrow transplant, for those of you that don't know what that is, they'll go into a donor. They'll pull out the bone marrow from their bones and put it into a bag and then just give it to me through an IV. At the time, I had two lines hanging out of my chest that connected straight to my blood flow, and that's how they gave it to me. So they tested three people. They tested both of my parents and my brother. And my brother ended up being a perfect match. Um, and so when they asked him, like, will you be your brother's donor? Obviously, his answer was yes, which is awesome that we're actually recording this on his birthday. Happy 21st birthday, Joey.
Happy birthday, you jackass.
So we went through all the prep and everything. My, it was, I went to a mission in July, and then we started all the prep and everything. I had to head up a week before transplant to start going the conditioning that I needed for it. So I had to go through radiation. And so I was staying in a place called the Ronald McDonald House, which was nearby. And so that was like my last week of freedom for a while, for all intents and purposes, until I had to go in. And then I went in for the transplant. I was there for another like 3 days beforehand, going through chemo and radiation again to make sure, because my immune system had to be completely wiped out for this transplant to work. So by the time transplant day rolled around, I had no immune system. So then it's transplant day. It's August 20th of 2021. Creeping up on 4 years. Wow, 4 years post transplant almost. That's crazy. But I'm creeping up on it's August 20th. And my brother goes in to have the bone marrow removed. Um, and so he goes in, has the surgery, they put him under, and then they go to stick the needle in his back. And while we were prepping for this, the doctor saw my brother and went, "Oh, he's a big boy. He's a strong boy. Like, we're going to need a lot of people." So they had to have like a team of people come in to push the needle into his back because his bones were so strong.
Oh,
And so they pushed it in, pulled it out, and then when they went to pull the needle out, the needle actually got stuck in his back.
oh gosh.
So my doctor had been doing this for 30 years at this point and had never seen this happen.
It's because Joey's a beast, dude.
Joey is a beast.
Joey's a
But
tank.
they had never seen the needle get stuck in someone's back. So then they had to continue the
Anesthesia.
anesthesia, keep him under. They brought in a live X-ray and had to X-ray and then actually scoop out some of his back to in order to pull the needle out. So yeah,
Oh,
he has a little like divot in his back. I'll have him show it to you later, Caleb. But yeah, so in 30 years experience, that had never happened to the doctor that performed the transplant, and then it ended up happening to us because if you couldn't tell already, we don't make anything easy.
no.
So that happened, and then August 20th was transplant day. So they put it into my body. My brother, my hero, saved my life. I'm in forever debt with him. Super grateful. Even though I did get him a pretty good birthday gift this year, I'm pretty stoked about it.
Did you? Since this
I
episode
did.
isn't going to come out until Tuesday, can you say what it is right now?
I can. I got him the the new Morgan Wallen album on vinyl, but it's not regular vinyl. It's the limited edition white vinyl. I'm pretty stoked
That
about
shit
it.
was expensive as hell.
It really wasn't too bad.
Really?
Um, but yeah, so he did that, and then they actually made a special exception for him. because at the time it was still all the COVID regulations and everything, so I was only allowed to have two guests.
And you didn't have an immune system, so I can't imagine what that
Yeah,
was like.
and I didn't have an immune system, but they made an exception for him. They let him come in the day after transplant and just visit with me. I mean, because he had just saved my life, so I got to see him right after. And little did I know that August 21st, 2021 would be the last day I remember for about 3 months.
That was the
So
last thing you remember was seeing your brother?
was seeing my brother. And then, so during that time, I was going through a lot of stuff. But from August 21st, 2021 until Halloween, I remember nothing. That entire time period in my mind is blank. And so, but there are some things that I've been told the stories from my parents who were there through the entire thing. After transplant, I had a lot of complications. I was in the ICU for about 2 weeks
And you
after
don't remember being
transplant.
in the ICU.
I don't remember any of this. I mean,
Were
I
you
was
were you cognitive? Were you like
no,
did they say that you were awake? Were you
I was
coherent?
awake. Yeah, but I don't know. Honestly, I'm not sure. And my mom wanted to be on this episode. This would be a question for her, but I told her no. I need to be able to talk too. um, but so I went into the ICU and I was insanely sick. I had this disease called VOD. Like that's what they call it. They call it VOD. I don't know the technical name for it. And I found this out actually recently, probably about 2, 3 months ago, that that disease I had, VOD, that was caused by transplant, has an 80% mortality rate. So at one point after transplant, I had a 20% chance of living on top of all the other things that I had going on in my life.
So it's
Like
probably
all the
lower.
other things.
So it's probably
Yeah,
lower.
it may have been even lower. So, I mean, insane, man. I was on 24-hour a day dialysis. I have a spot on my neck. I'll have to show you later, Caleb.
I've
But
seen it.
yeah, I have a spot on my neck from a tube that was probably about an inch in diameter in my neck, giving me 24-hour a day dialysis because at one point I had nearly total kidney failure. So that's why like I don't drink energy drinks, I don't drink alcohol, anything like that, because my kidneys are 50 shades of messed up. um, so I mean, it's crazy to think like that all happened to me, and now I'm a host of the Riding the Bench podcast.
Oh, dude, what an honor. What a comeback story.
Yeah, so I went through all of that. I was in the ICU. I was so out of it during the ICU. We have a listener, Corbin Diaz. Um, I was yelling at like it was just me and my mom in the room. I was yelling at my brother who was not there, who was in Visalia when I was at Stanford. Look, there's Corbin right there. Get him away from me. About Corbin Diaz. Shout out Corbin Diaz. I don't know if he listens, but I know he
He
follows the
has.
Instagram.
Yeah.
And then, like at one point, I was pushing our cat at the time off of my bed. I was at the hospital. There's no way. Like I was just completely out of it.
Right.
So I mean, that was all happening, and there were times when my mom and dad were on the phone, and my dad was still at home because he had to take care of my brother and hold down the fort. But they were on the phone, and my dad's like, "Is it time for me to come up? Like, is this the end?" And so like that was the reality of it. Was that's how close I was minutes away from not being a host of the Riding the Bench podcast.
I love how that's the comeback story.
So I mean, I've been through hell and back, man.
Right.
After that, I started the road to recovery from all this stuff. I ended up being in the hospital for a little over 100 days after transplant.
Holy shit.
In that time, not getting to see my brother once since August 21st. And then I finally got released from the hospital after. I know this is going to be wrong, and my parents are going to chew me out for it later, but I want to say it was 108 days. And then I got released, but I still couldn't go home. That's what sucked was I got released. I finally had the freedom per se, but I still couldn't go home. And that killed me because I wanted to see my family. So we had to stay at a hotel nearby because I I'm blanking on the name of it, but I had a disease that's super contagious, especially to people with weak immune systems, who I would have been surrounded by at the Ronald McDonald House, which I stayed at before transplant. So we had to stay at a hotel nearby, about probably 15 minutes, 10 minutes away from the hospital, because I was having daily appointments. And if anything happened, I would have to go straight to the hospital because, I mean, I was in a very delicate state at the time. And so um, I we were there for probably about a month or so. We had the most unique Thanksgiving ever. We had Thanksgiving from a hotel room. Um, but I also had very strict dietary restrictions at the time. So like I couldn't have anything that was made over 30 minutes ago. So I'd have everything made fresh. And so then that made Thanksgiving even more complicated. But that also, the Thanksgiving was super special. One, because it was a big memory between me and my family. And also because that was the first time I had got to see my brother, like in person, since August 21st. So from August 21st to Thanksgiving, I didn't get to see the guy who saved my life,
Right.
which is, it was hard for sure. And the Wi-Fi in the hotel room sucked, so I couldn't play the show with my
Oh
buddies.
man, so that's the worst part, dude.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. I watched the same YouTube video probably 50 times because I got bored. I ran out of things to watch on YouTube.
Do you remember the video?
I just remember it was Austin Kleschka from Dodger Films. I just watched a bunch of his videos over and over again. But so we stayed at the hotel. Then I ended up getting to, all I wanted was to be home for Christmas with my family because I hadn't seen them all. Like that's all I wanted was to be home. And I finally got the release to go home before uh just before Christmas, so I was able to be home. It was awesome. I still get a snap in my memories every December. I sent one of my best friends at the time, DJ. I sent her a snap of me with Christmas music and a Christmas filter on it. Or the Christmas song was "I'll Be Home for Christmas." And
Yeah.
so I was super hyped, but we didn't tell my brother because when I got home, we wanted it to be a complete surprise. So he didn't know when I got home. So that was cool, surprising him. I got to be home with my family for Christmas. So that was awesome, but I was still on an insane amount of medications. So at one point,
Wait,
while
wait, wait,
I
hold on.
was,
What was Joey's reaction when he saw you? What was that like?
he was super stoked. I mean, because he had no idea I was coming home. He knew it would probably be happening soon, but he didn't know when. And so we kept it a complete secret from him all the way home when we found out. Because when we found out, we're like, oh, you probably have about a week left, and then you get to go home. And so we kept it a secret from him the entire time, and then made sure he was home that night. And then I walked in and surprised him. It was
That's
awesome.
wild.
It was cool. Um, I forget where I was at.
Right
Uh,
after right after Christmas.
yeah, Christmas with my family was awesome. Got to see everyone, which we didn't know if that was going to be able to happen because my whole immune system and everything. Still super strict dietary restrictions. Oh, the pills, that's where I was at. So at one point when I was in the hotel, I was taking 32 pills at a time.
32 pills at a
30,
time?
yeah, like in one sitting, twice a day.
Ooh.
So once when I woke up in the morning and once at night. So we had a big tub that had all my pills. We had a giant list of everything I needed to take every day, um, and at what times I needed to take them. Like it was insane. I was on so many medications, and some of those medications were steroids to help me rebuild my strength.
You were on gear, bro?
I was on gear, bro. I was all wired, but I was on steroids, and the steroids. If you take too many steroids, there's a side effect that can happen called avascular necrosis. It's really common in the knees and or not really common, but it's more common in the knees and in the hips. And so I went, and so after taking all these steroids, I was diagnosed. I started having major ankle pain. So it was hard for me to walk. I'd use a walker or a cane or crutches everywhere I went. It was super difficult. And so we went to the doctor, got the X-rays done, and come to find out, had gotten diagnosed with avascular necrosis in my ankles, which is super rare. Um, and so uh, they didn't know what necessarily the treatment for it was. The first people we went to told me that that the only option was to fuse my ankle together, so I would lose all up and down movement on my ankle. But the first thing I was told when I was told I have avascular necrosis is you're never going to play baseball again. And I'm going to be honest with you, I cried maybe twice through all of treatment. And there was this joke. It happens every episode.
Yep.
I cried maybe twice through all of treatment. The hardest I cried was post treatment when they told me I'd never play baseball again.
Right.
So, for those of you wondering why we decided to start a sports podcast, it's because sports was such a big part of my life. Are a big part of Caleb's life. I mean, I'll get more into the sport, how sports helped me during all my treatment and everything in a little bit. But like, I mean, that was the biggest hit, was being told I'll never play baseball again. But I had proven the doctors wrong before, and I was determined to do it again.
How
So
was
I
a
went
pickleball
through
player?
so I went through an experimental surgery that they normally do on the hips and the knees for avascular necrosis called cord decompression. So what that is they take stem cells out of a different part of your body and drill holes in your ankle. Oh, so avascular necrosis, by the way, is where your bone is dying. So my bone had started dying and the ankle started to collapse.
Holy shit.
Um,
Do you know how close you were to like a complete ankle collapse?
I don't know.
Like
I
it's
know it was
at that
pretty
point,
bad.
once you get diagnosed, it's just a ticking time bomb before you do something about it, right?
Yes, and so that's why my surgery it was very experimental. I think they'd done it maybe once before and it didn't work.
Oh.
Um, and so uh, they did a surgery called cord decompression, where they drill holes in your ankle to increase the blood flow, because that's what causes the bone to die, is the blood flow getting cut off. Um, and so they increased the blood flow to my ankles um, and then shot stem cells into it, my own stem cells into it, which were actually technically my brother's stem cells because he gave me a stem cell transplant. You know what I mean? um,
Sure, yeah.
but so they shot my own stem cells into it, and it worked fantastic. It was a long road to recovery. I had one in each. I had core decompression in both ankles. So I had the first one, and then a couple. I was on a knee scooter for that one, and then a couple months later, I had the other one, and then was on a knee scooter. But ended up being off the knee scooter in time to be a team manager for my varsity baseball team in my high school junior year. So it was awesome getting to be a part of the team. We won the first Division 1 playoff game in program history. So it was super cool being a part of that. Just being a part of a baseball team again, even though at that point I didn't think I would ever play again. And then God worked miracles in my life, man. He healed my ankles. The surgeries worked. It was an experiment, but I know God was with me the entire time. The surgeries worked. My ankles were healed, and I was able to play baseball again my senior year. And so it was a fall ball game. It didn't like fall ball doesn't count for anything, but my coach called me into his classroom because he was also a teacher at the time, and goes, "Hey man, you're in the lineup today. You're gonna get in at bat. Like you're gonna play today." And I didn't know it at the time. Like I didn't know beforehand. So I called my mom like, "Hey Madre, I'm playing today." And she's all, "No way, people are gonna want to be there, but I don't know how much I can make it happen." Because at this point, he called me in about noon. The games are like 4:30 or so. Like
Right.
so, there wasn't a long turnover between when I found out in the game. So she tried to rile up as many people, but that was my first game back. I remember it vividly because it was against some of the guys that I played my last game with before before I was diagnosed. So I played for a team in Hanford called the Future Stars when I was 13 before I was diagnosed, and then my first game back was against Hanford High School in Visalia, and I had some friends and family there to watch me. I had got one at bat, ended up walking, so that was lame. But or maybe I grounded out. I don't know, but I was still super slow at the time. But so I mean, it was cool get to go back to baseball. And then the surgeries worked, man. God had his hand on me through all of treatment, and especially in that moment there when or in that time when my ankles were healing, man, he was with me, and he's done wonders in my life. So it was really cool being able to go back to baseball, because sports meant everything to me. So from the time I was 2 years old, I've uh, live, breathe, sleep. Like everything was baseball, sports. I mean, I played all the sports growing up in middle school, high school, or not high school, obviously. But I mean, it was awesome being able to go back. So, I mean, sports were a big part of my life, and that also helped me get through treatment. Let's
Right.
switch to another Zoom and I'll get into the sports
In a
stuff.
second. But I just want to say, like, writing, like, that's what I was so excited to tell the story about is because of how big of a unit in your life baseball was
Hmm.
and how much of a driving force it was. And we make our jokes on the show, but it's not called riding the bench for nothing. Like
Yeah.
it's called riding the bench because you were riding the bench, of course,
Hmm.
but that helped you in so many ways. Like just
Yeah.
being around that environment and being around
Hmm.
what you gave your life to, which was baseball,
Yeah. Yeah.
which
And
is what
God provided me with that opportunity.
exactly, which
I
is
mean,
what makes this show uh so special. You know, the way that I look at it is, we're doing um I feel like I feel honored to be a part of that because you're one of my brothers and I care about you so much. And just thinking that we can be together and talk about sports, which is the thing that helped you get through such a difficult time in your life.
hmm.
It's just crazy to think about. The name riding the bench isn't just bullshit. It was had a meaning behind it. I thought it was bullshit at first. I'm like, riding the bench, really? That's what you came up with? But then now
That's a dope name, bro.
it is a
Like,
dope
even if
name.
it didn't have more meaning behind it, it's a dope name for a sports podcast.
It is a dope name for a sports podcast. All right, we will be right back. We're gonna switch over. And we are back from commercial break.
But there were other sports that helped get me through treatment. One thing that I was really disappointed about was that 2021 Giants run where they were like unbelievable. Apparently, I was watching every game multiple times. So I'd watch the game, and then I'd watch the game again the next day when it was on TV again. But I don't remember the run, the playoff run, where they ended up losing to the Dodgers in the NLDS or whatever. I don't remember it, and I wish I did. But apparently, my hospital room was like, if people want to check the score to the game, they come into Jake's room because Jake's gonna guarantee to have the game on.
Always.
Um, but like other sports, football, my dad would come up every weekend to visit with me and my mom, and obviously I don't remember this stuff, but apparently me and my dad would sit there and watch college football all day long.
And you don't remember it.
And I barely remember. There's like maybe bits and pieces that I slightly remember, but I don't remember a lot of sitting there watching college football with my dad. Um, but we would also play Madden. Me and my dad would sit there and play Madden,
That's crazy
and
that you play Madden because you suck at Madden.
well, I couldn't get through games. Like I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
No, I
So
know, I know, I know.
me and cancel him. Hashtag cancel Caleb Brown.
Dude, that's already been started, brother.
But apparently we would start. I mean, I slightly remember these. We would start Madden games, and I wouldn't be able to finish it because my head would start hurting, or I just couldn't focus. Like that's how out of it I was. That we would start Madden games, get halfway through the first quarter, and we wouldn't be able to finish it. So we turned back on college football.
Right. And you were Gators. You were a Gator fan, huh?
At this point, I was at Stanford. I was a big Stanford fan.
Oh, okay.
So I was a Gator fan growing up, and then and then I had treatment at Stanford, and so that was always, so like now they have a special place in my heart because they saved my life.
Of course. I would when we have video on the show, you guys will see the big ass Stanford flag that's on Jacob's ceiling.
Yeah, yeah. And then like even post transplant and post treatment and everything, people knew my love for sports, and I ended up getting connected with a organization called Team Impact. And what Team Impact does is they connect kids who have gone through treatment with collegiate sports teams. And so I got connected with them. They like did an interview with me, and and ended up connecting me with uh, like Fresno State. That's going to be where you are. It's close to you. It'll be easy. So obviously, my first choice was baseball. At the time, baseball was going through a coaching change, and so that ended up not working out, being with baseball. But blessing in disguise, because I ended up getting my second choice was the basketball team. So I ended up getting paired up with the Fresno State men's basketball team, even though I would have preferred it to be the women's. Um, but I ended up getting paired up with the Fresno State men's basketball team, which was super awesome. So I got to know all those guys really well. My first year on the team. Um, Nate Leal, he is the director of basketball operations. We're hoping to have him on a future episode too. But he was our guy, man. Like my family's guy. He would hook my family would get tickets to every game. I got to be in the locker room, pregame, halftime, postgame, all that stuff. I got to go in the timeouts, be in the tunnel when they were giving high fives, introducing the players. I sat right behind the bench. I was the butt pad guy. So there was this guy named Eduardo Andre who, where is he at now? West Virginia. So he was at Fresno State, and I was playing for West Virginia, which is a big time school.
Yeah.
I was his butt pad guy. So they had these knee pads from when they would stretch, and then he was too tall to just sit on the bench regularly. So he would need a butt pad, or he would need pads under his butt to lift him up higher so that he could get up easily when his number was called. And so I
Wow.
was his butt pad guy. I took him when he was off the bed, when he went onto the court, and then I handed it back to him when he came back on the bench. So that was me.
You would
I'm the reason he's at West Virginia right now.
you are.
I am me alone. I was the towel guy.
You were
I
putting
gave the guys
pads under
towels.
asses. You were giving towels, bro.
I was giving towels. I was handing waters. I
Oh
was
my God.
Yeah, and I wasn't even getting paid for it. That was out of the kindness of my heart. But I love being with the Fresno State men's basketball team. I was with them for 2 years. The first year, guys were great. The second year, it was pretty much a whole new roster. A couple of returners, but pretty much a whole new roster. The second year, there was this guy named Pierre Janiste, I think is how you pronounce his last name.
Right.
But super cool guy. He didn't know why I was there. And then at the end of the season, I brought him little thank yous with cards, kind of explaining my story a little bit. This, but on a much more minimal level. Um, and he ended up sending me a DM. It was like, "Man, your story is an inspiration," and like just thanking me for being a part of the team, supporting them all season. And then now we're buddies. I saw him probably like 2 weeks ago at Chick-fil-A. I didn't even see him. He saw me and was like, "Hey, Jake," called me over, said what's up to me and my family. So it was super cool. Like I have relationships with these guys
Right.
now, and it's awesome. Went to a game this year against San Jose State, which two of the guys from the team from when I was on the team are on San Jose State now. They both went out of their way to make sure to come say what's up to me, and they were both super upset when they found out we paid for our tickets. They're like, "What? If that ever happens again, you're gonna be in trouble. Tell me next time. I'll hook you up a
I'll
ticket."
hook you up. Yeah.
So, like, these guys, I mean, these guys are family now.
Right.
And so it was an awesome experience being with the Fresno State men's basketball team. And another thing that sports is a big part of my life. I want to be a sports broadcaster someday.
Right.
So
And that kind of leads into my next thing. So you were such, from what I know, I haven't known you for your whole life, but from what I understand, you were a super active kid.
oh
You were
yeah,
super active, super into
yeah.
sports, super into everything. You were a Girl Scout.
Hey, hey,
like
hey.
you
Chill
what?
with the disrespect.
You were a Girl Scout,
I was a Boy Scout, and now I'm an Eagle Scout.
but you
So
sold
screw
but
you.
you sold cookies, but
No, I didn't. I sold
but
popcorn.
you sold popcorn. Okay.
Stop with the disrespect.
Sorry. So,
I
but
won't
like
stand for it.
you were a super active kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Baseball, basketball. Middle school, I played all the sports: football, soccer, which screw soccer, but I played it for in school for 3 years and outside of school for 2 years. I did everything. I ran a 10K at one point when I was in middle school.
right. And that's like you being so active and then kind of having this thing just get thrown onto your life that just stops you at a halt and puts everything not only like it doesn't only bring you to a halt, but you were told that you were never going to be able to do the things that you love ever again.
Hmm.
Like you were told that you were never going to be able to play baseball again. And how do you think you were able to stay like I know sports was such a big part of your life. How how did you stay in the world of sports? How did you maintain sanity while being taken away from something that you're so passionate about?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, um, and just to, I'll get to your question in a minute. I'm gonna dodge your question like Caleb Williams right now. But like people always ask me like, how'd you stay so positive? And my first reaction was always, I'd rather it be me than someone I love.
Right.
So I would rather me be going through the things that I'm going through than someone that I love, than having to see someone that I love struggle through what I was going through.
Right.
So that's how I stayed so positive. I'm like, this is just me. I'm doing it for my family. I'm doing it for my community. Um, but for sports, I blanked on your question, but I tried
The,
to
the
answer
the
your question.
question was like how did you stay so connected to the world of sports even while having everything in your life take you away from sports?
Yeah. So that was that sports keep me sane. They also drive me insane because the Giants can't get freaking things done when they need to get things done, and it
Tell me
pisses
about
me
it, bro. I'm
off.
a Padres fan.
But sports keep me sane. They give me something to watch, give me something to root for. I mean, sports give us hope. And so you always hope your team can score that run. You hope your team can score that touchdown. You hope your team can win the championship, win that next game. Sports give us hope. And so, I mean, that kind of kept me positive. Like, hey, man, Giants might make a run this year. And the Giants did make a run that year and ended up selling it on a stupid check swing call. Whoever made
Yeah.
that call, Max Scherzer, go screw yourself. He did not go. Anyways,
He did not go.
but sports give us hope. And that's what I needed at the time was I needed hope.
Right.
And so that was a big part was that. And then I was told I'd never play again, but I still wanted to be involved in sports because I still wanted to be a part of that hope, that community, that love that people have. I mean, now I work for the Rawhide. We've seen how much of a community that is. We've had two employees, two higher ups from the Rawhide be on our podcast so far,
Yeah.
and we have more to come, including maybe some players. We'll
Maybe.
figure it out.
Maybe.
Mr. Slade Caldwell, hit us
Slade
up.
Caldwell hit us up.
Um,
Maybe some NFL
but
players here in the future.
maybe that's in the works, guys.
That is in the works. I kid you not. I wish we were joking and it sounds crazy, but we are actually in the works of an NFL legend that might come on right in the bench.
Yeah, yeah. But that's all the teasers we're gonna give.
That's all you're gonna get.
But yeah, so I was like, I still want to be involved in sports. Like, I
Right.
still want to do this for the rest of my life. And so my plans obviously had to pivot because I couldn't be a Major League Baseball player anymore.
Right.
Which most people's plans have to pivot at some point in their life. Mine was just earlier than expected.
Right.
Um, and so I'm like, I'm gonna be a broadcaster. I grew up listening to Krug and Kipe on KMBR on NBC Sports Bay Area. Another one of my big inspirations, even though he was the Dodgers broadcaster, is Vin Scully. He was one
Right.
of the greatest to ever do it. I have a Vin Scully shirt. I always make sure during baseball season that the Dodgers are on an off day when I wear that shirt.
Yeah.
Even though it says Dodgers nowhere on it, I'd rather be safe than sorry. But I mean, so these guys were guys I listened to growing up, and I never really realized how important they were to the game until you get into a position where you're like, oh man, I can't play anymore, but I still want to be involved.
Still want to be involved in it. Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I went to. I was like, I want to be a broadcaster.
Yeah.
I want to, I want to broadcast these sports and make the game more entertaining for people, even if I can't play. And part of that is being on the promo team for the Visalia Rawhide. I love this job. I still get to be a part of the show. I still get to be involved in sports, be around baseball every day, even if I'm not on the field.
Right.
And so, I mean, I love sports. If you guys couldn't tell already, so I just wanted to stay involved. And so, being a broadcaster is a way that can help. And also, if I can move up in the Rawhide and take Julian's position one day, GM of the Rawhide, that would be sick too.
Do it.
But yeah, so just trying to stay consistent, stay in sports. Sports give us hope, and hope is what I want to have.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. And kind of this is my last question, by the way.
okay,
And it's one that I thought a lot about. So of course you had your family and you had God and you had those things getting you through. Aside from that, if you could pick one thing aside from those detrimental there's my stroke. Attributes that you had, like your family and God and things like that. If there's one other thing that you can wholeheartedly say helped ensure not only your strength but your survival, what would that thing be?
MLB The Show.
MLB The Show?
No,
MLB The Show makes me throw stuff. I don't know
my youth group.
your youth group.
So you said besides friends and family and all that stuff, though.
No, but no, that's totally
Yeah,
fine. That counts.
I'm gonna go not just my youth group, but my community. So the way that my community rallied behind me during that time was insane. So
Right.
I got diagnosed right before my 14th birthday. Was it 14th? I think so. I think that's how the math
I
works
think
out.
so too.
So I got diagnosed right before my 14th birthday, and they ended up having a birthday parade for me because it was COVID at the time, and that birthday parade was probably about 2 hours long.
Right.
Just cars coming down the street showing their support for me. My entire graduating eighth grade class was there at that parade that day.
Right.
And baseball buddies. I mean, all these people that I've known from different ways throughout my entire life, Boy Scouts, family, just other ways. Everyone came and showed their support for me. So if it weren't for my community and being able to say, I'm doing this for them, I'm not just doing this for me,
Right.
I don't know if I would have made it through.
Absolutely.
And so my community for sure. And like I said, my youth group. I I didn't really know. I went to church every once in a while, but I didn't really know God before all of this went down. And then my youth group was there for me when I needed it most. My
Right.
church provided for me and my family, provided us meals, support, prayer, and so my church and my youth group were super instrumental in not only my physical well-being but my mental. I always say chemo healed the mental part of me, but or chemo healed the physical part of me, but God healed the mental.
Right.
And part of that was providing me with such an amazing youth group and such an amazing church to be there for me when I needed them most. Shout out Pathway Visalia.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, my community, my church, it was, I wouldn't have been able to do it without the people supporting me. And
Right.
that's from the people who I saw every day, from my family, my best friends, the people I talked to, all of that, down to the people who I hadn't seen since middle school, who sent me a DM on Instagram saying, "Hey man, I got your back." Like at one point, one dude sent me a DM. It was like, "Hey, if anyone makes fun of you, I'll beat them up for you." Come on, you were a bully to me in elementary school, but I love the support. Thank you. I'm gonna name drop. Can you bleep this?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, man. I mean, it meant a lot having my community, knowing my community had my back, rallying behind me. I wasn't just doing it for me; I was doing it for them.
Right. That's so, I mean, oh, that's crazy. I mean, if I wasn't such a macho man, I'd probably cry, but I'm not gonna do that on the
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
But dude, I appreciate you doing, laying it out on the table for everybody. I think it's an important story to hear. And the thing that I find the craziest out of everything is that um you you this has brought so much wisdom to your life that you've passed it on to so many people. The good that you're able to do after the fact, the good you do for me is crazy. Is crazy. The good that you have been able to spread to the people around you after all that you've been through and all the things that you've learned, I think goes to show who you are.
Mhm.
Um, like we talked about it last week. I've been going through a really, really hard couple weeks. And, I have kind of been in my own world. I've been kind of locked away. Yet there's not a day that goes by where Jacob doesn't text me or call me and be like, "Hey, how you doing today?" Like the things that you're able to do from what you've learned and all the things that you've gone through and still um being able to be that force for other people just like they were a force for you at some point speaks volumes. Like
Yeah.
my new life motto, you just taught me, somewhere someone has it worse. And for somebody that has been through what you've been through to say, "Oh, somewhere someone has it worse." That's crazy. That is crazy work. Um, but seriously, dude, you have had the most I mean, I'm not going to say incredible life, but you have the most incredible story. And I think that shows for all sorts of people, and it makes doing this show 10 times more meaningful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is my testimony, man.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm still here on this earth because God has a plan for me. And so I'm just out here trying to live my life through God every day. And part of that's being there for the people that I love, which includes you.
Right.
I love you, Caleb, in case
I
you
love you
didn't know
too,
that.
buddy.
But I mean, that's what I want to do is I want to spread my story, use it for good. And part of that is this podcast, trying to
Right.
show that just because bad things happen, it's not the end of the world. I mean, another thing that I always say, which I know I've said, I've said, oh, I say this thing all the time, but is yes, it was hard, but it's just a small roadblock in the journey of my life.
Exactly.
It was 2-3 years from hell for a lifetime of happiness.
Yeah.
And part of it's this podcast. Even
You
though it
got a
drives me insane.
podcast, you got a kick-ass girlfriend, you got a great family.
I do.
You got your life figured out.
I do. Even though I do get pissed when you upload the podcast late, but it's okay.
It's
I forgive
okay.
you. But yeah, man, this is my testimony. I'm just trying to live every day the way God wants me to. And so, yeah, man. And part of that's being there for the people I love.
Yeah. And not only are the people close to you part of that, and you know, like you said, this podcast is a testimony of your hardship and things that you've gone through. And you know, I can't imagine how much this show has helped you with your connection to sports. I can only imagine, like, I only know how much it helped me, and I just know that it's helped you 10 times more, just because of all the things that you've gone through. And the special thing that we have is we don't just have each other, but we have the people listening to this right now,
Yep.
which is awesome, which is badass. Even
Yeah.
when Brandon stopped me at Barnes and Nobles and told me that the Cowboys sucked, it's still cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yesterday, I mean, another Brandon story. Brandon posting yesterday on his Instagram, listening to a little Riding the Bench on
On the
my
drive
way-
to somewhere.
Yeah, like I mean that means a lot to us. And so as we wrap up the season finale, we just want to thank you guys, you listeners, for being there, supporting us. We're coming back bigger and better than ever, maybe with some video.
Maybe. Don't go anywhere though.
Don't go anywhere. We're starting a TikTok page. That's something we're going to be doing during this break.
During the off season.
Yep. So I mean, don't go anywhere. We're going to be back better than ever, but at the same time, still just good old us.
Still good old
Talking
us.
some
We
sports,
got some things to
talking some
figure
shit.
out. It's been a long 20 weeks,
Yeah.
and I think a little bit of break time, a little bit of vacation time is not going to hurt us.
Yep, for sure. And but when it comes back, it's gonna be better because we're gonna be working on it. We got some very special guests. We mentioned him earlier. My hero Joey's gonna be kicking off season 2. We've got a buddy from South Bend, Indiana, coming on. We got some guys from the Rawhide, maybe an NFL player. I mean, we have big things coming your way in season 2. So stay tuned.
Exactly. Wow. I can't believe the season's over. Jacob, do your spiel.
You do the donating spiel.
Oh, I'll do the donating spiel. Okay. Everybody, like Jacob said, we are going to be back better than ever, but better than ever is expensive. Okay.
Yes.
And we are two broke 18-year-olds that are trying to figure some shit out. And we're about to be 19. Okay. So if you want to support us, of course, you can go support our social medias, but another key way to support us is if you go to rss.com/writing-the-bench and click that little donate button, it'll take you to a link that'll tell you a little bit about us and what your money is going to be used for. And you can donate to the show.
Yes. Go donate. It's my Make-A-Wish.
Yeah, go donate. That's Jacob's Make-A-Wish, dude. It was Patrick
joking.
Mahomes. It was Patrick Mahomes, and now
No.
this.
No.
He went
No.
he went to Disney World. For
I
his
did go to
Make-A-Wish.
Disney World. It was pretty kick-ass.
Okay, continue.
Go give us a follow on Instagram at Riding the Bench Pod. We'll also be giving an update on the TikTok here soon, where we'll be posting filters and stuff, just talking sports, maybe some clips from the pod. So go follow us over on Instagram at Riding the Bench Pod. We're going to try to get the TikTok to be the same name. And then, yeah, man, go send us a DM. Let us know how you like the show, how you liked season 1, what you want to see in season 2, any new segments you have ideas for. And what's our code word for this week? Our code word for this week is Thriver.
Thriver. I like that.
Because I'm not just a cancer survivor, I'm a cancer thriver.
Yes, sir, Skitty.
Yes, so go give us a follow, go donate to the show, send us a DM, say thriver. As a reminder, my name is Jacob Fagundes.
My name is Caleb Brown.
This has been the Riding the Bench podcast, season 1. Stay benched, boys.